What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot of Sports podcast. Grab a drink, a snack. This is your weekly dose of sports, where we'll break down and do a deep dive of the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. Subscribe, share, even leave a comment for us. We appreciate all the feedback. Smash the like button and tap the notification bell on the right so you can be notified whenever we drop, so you won't miss one. Today we have on the show, we got Chris Pittner, and then we're gonna have Nazir Spencer on in a little bit. So, how's everybody been? And it's been a week. It feels like it's been about a week.
Yeah, it's been a week since we shot last. I finally got my mic over here. I think I got everything figured out with that. And good free agency moves this week. A lot of controversy around the Bucks, which will be fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I my birthday is tomorrow, so I'll be celebrating that. We might have a podcast. We should have a podcast tomorrow in the morning, around the morning time, so we can just get it out the way, so we can get everybody y'all daily shows at least two. So yeah.
Yeah, there's not many better days to have your birthday on than the fourth either. So happy
Oh, I
early
could
birthday.
actually. I would probably have to disagree with that because there's absolutely nothing open on the fourth.
That's fair. That's fair.
So all you do is eat barbecue and sit outside all day. Maybe get some ice cream. Go to the store. But that's about it. But like for activity wise, I mean, it's like it's
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because like at the also like at least in Wisconsin, it's always really warm, and I live in
yeah.
a lake. I live right on Lake Michigan, so there's always a lot of stuff going on here. I don't. Salt Lake City is probably completely different, but
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll see what it is tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see what it is tomorrow. I mean, it's beautiful out there. You could actually just go outside. Like my sky deck is absolutely beautiful to sit on and actually great to watch. Like see the sunset, be able to just sit out there and just a vibe for real. So I would say Utah is pretty. It's different than the Midwest, but the views are just absolutely immaculate out here. I will say that.
I mean, you got the mountains right out there too, so it's like you pretty much got. You look out your window and you see something over 10,000 feet, which is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I mean, being from the Midwest, seeing that type of stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool to see actually. So we're gonna jump into our first topic, which is the NBA free agency frenzy. So obviously, about a couple days ago, the NBA had opened its doors to free agency, and um, it really feels like everybody was on the move. Everyone. I mean, you had, and I will say, some teams made some questionable decisions. Some teams didn't make no decisions at all, and some teams went all in. I mean, it's been pretty hectic. So let's talk about the Bucks real quick because obviously that's the biggest headline: Damian Lillard being waived, and y'all still have to pay him, and he could end up on a team like maybe what the 76ers or something, and you have to play him in the
I've
playoffs.
seen the two leaders that I've seen now. I haven't kept up with that as much as just what the Bucks are doing in general, but the two that I've seen floated are the Heat and the Blazers, which are just the two where he was rumored to go to Miami. Everyone thought that he was going to Miami and he didn't. And then obviously the Blazers just going home to Portland again.
Right, right. So I would say the biggest move that I thought it wasn't even a free agent move. I feel like the Kevin Durant trade going to the Houston Rockets. I feel like that was the biggest move that could pretty much ultimately change the West. They went from first round to now title contenders just by making one move. So I think they're probably the greatest threat to the Thunder. My Utah Jazz were my Utah Jazz made a move with getting rid of Clarkson and having Sexton shipped off uh, to Charlotte. But we signed Ace Bailey, which is a beautiful thing to see. We signed Walter Clayton, Johnny Juzang, not Johnny Juzang, John Tanje. And then we also got rid of Johnny Juzang as well. So I mean, I will say the Jazz are in a much better spot than they were in last year. I'm not gonna say they're gonna make a like an Indiana Pacers run, but I will say that they will be compete. I got a feeling they will be competing for a play-in spot. So
As for the Jazz, I think it's tougher because they're in the West and there's just so many good teams in the West. I mean, at the end of the day, there's only 8 spots and probably I don't know, at least 10 to 12 teams that could make a legitimate push for the playoffs. So even when a team adds like a good player like the Jazz did, the Jazz clearly got better this offseason. I don't think there's any debate to that. It's just so tough. If they were in the East, I would say they had a puncher's chance. But specifically because they're in the West, I think they just need at least one more piece before you can even say they're a playing team.
yeah, I mean it's something. I mean it's something. Um, it's very interesting because a lot of people are saying that they feel like the Jazz will be ending up being a sleeper in the West, which I'm not saying they're gonna go that far, but I will say that they may sneak up on a team or two to get into that play-in spot. I don't think they're going to be a top 8 seed like going into the play-in, but I feel like they might be maybe a 10 seed, right around 11, fighting for that 10. So I mean, it'll be very interesting. I mean, they're not done making moves. I don't think. I'm not sure they'll still keep Lowry Markkinen or John Collins, but if they do, I mean, they got some veteran leadership that's very good, and I believe Lowry Markkinen elevates them as well. Especially Ace Bailey, he unlocks him and frees up the floor a lot because he can hit the corner threes and stuff and things like that.
I think moving back over to the East, another team that I thought was a winner just through this whole extended period was Atlanta. I think Atlanta did a really good job retooling their team this offseason. It was clear that the biggest thing that they needed was defense, and they took care of that. They got a new center in Kristaps. They added Nikhil Alexander Walker to that roster. So they have a couple really, really good additions from this offseason that I think will really propel them. And I think it's not crazy to say that they could be in the top 3, 4 in the East next year if they finally get it together. Quinn Snyder is not a bad coach at all. They still have Trey Young. Jalen Johnson's going to be coming back from injury. Onyeka Okongwu is still there. Zachary Researcher is probably going to take a jump this year. I could really see Atlanta making a charge up the standings.
And that's what I was thinking. That's what I said when the minute they got Kristaps Porzingis, I was like, I'm not sure. Like people were like, I don't know. Like Nazir was telling me that I probably was delusional about saying that, but uh, that they would make a title run. I mean, the East is so weak that if you, the East is so weak that a team that low could make a literal Indiana Pacers kind of run in the playoffs next year because there's really only 2, 3 teams, maybe the most, that will stand out and be okay. Those 3 teams will probably be, they will probably end up being in the Eastern Conference Finals. Those 3 teams are the favorites. You got what the Knicks, the Cavs, and then it drops a tier to the 76ers, and then you got the Pistons still there. But those 2 teams, the Sixers and the Pistons, are on a different kind of tier. It's tier 1 and tier 2 that I believe, and that's where the 76ers and the 76ers and the Pistons are. So that's what I think, and it is everybody else. So
I mean, it's going to be tough too because I think honestly, after the Knicks and the Cavs at 1 and 2, I think that pretty much everyone else has about the same chance of just making noise in the East. I think the Bucks got better this free agency. Now, they got the top prize of the class. Does that make them a legit contender? I don't think so. I think there's just too many holes on this roster. I think Detroit's going to take another step forward. Another team we haven't mentioned yet is Orlando because they didn't make a ton of moves in free agency proper, but that move to add Desmond Bain, I think a lot of the teams in the East this year are just realizing how wide open it's going to be this year. The Cavs were a little disappointing in the playoffs. Before free agency, or before yesterday, actually, we didn't know what the Knicks coaching situation was going to look like. Boston's going to be down this year because they lost Holiday and Tatum's out for the year, and they lost Porzingis. So it's completely wide open, and pretty much anyone can take it this year.
as everyone sees, we have Nazir Spencer on the cast now. So how How's your last week been, and how your fourth will be?
I'm about to leave for Arizona in like 2 hours. That's why I was on late. Gotta pack a little bit, but we doing good. A lot of free agency signings that we can get to shortly here, and we love sports, so we go keep it dialed in regardless.
So we were just talking about the most intriguing moves that we thought were the best. So, what are your intriguing moves of the NBA free agency so far? Obviously.
I really like what the Mavericks and the Hawks are doing. They're really building their team up and down. Like, if the Mavs are healthy, they can come out the West. If the Hawks are healthy, they could make a push for the East, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that'll. I don't know. They're still young. I know Trae Young has a little bit of experience, but they're still a lot younger than majority of the league. So, um, I'm not too convinced on the Hawks just yet, but I do see the vision of what they're trying to do. And the worst signing I think was probably what is it? Jesus,
Let
I
me
don't even know.
guess, Miles Turner.
He's one of them. He's one of. I had another one that I just did not like. Yeah, I did not like Miles Turner for all those who are watching, only because of this. Let me just break this down for you guys. The Bucks have no picks. You can't control their picks until like 2021, 2020, or 2031, something like that, right? We're the oldest team in the league. Miles Turner, he's okay. I think he's a pretty good center all around, but he's 29 years old. He's turning 30. He's getting out of his prime. I know he just came off of a finals appearance, but that's not enough in my opinion. I feel like DeAndre Ayton. Now people are gonna clown me, say, "Oh my God, Miles Turner's miles ahead." I don't think so. DeAndre Ayton hasn't played meaningful football or basketball since he was on the Suns. They gave up on him. They traded him to the Trailblazers because I don't even know. I don't remember the reason why. But in my head, I'm thinking, so the Bucks are trying to get younger and keep Giannis at the same time while still contending. Why not go pick up a 26-year-old 7-foot center who can he can score better everywhere else besides the 3-pointer with Miles Turner. He doesn't play as good as defense as Miles Turner, but next to Giannis, you got to imagine he would be playing great defense regardless with that superstar next to him. So I'm thinking in my head, why not try to get younger and contend at the same time by getting Miles Turner or DeAndre Ayton and shipping Miles Turner somewhere else? I'm not saying Miles Turner is horrible because obviously he's not, but he did just come off one of the worst playoff runs of his career, not as a team, but he did not play great throughout the entire playoffs besides the Bucks series, in my opinion, which from what I saw in stats wise. So I'm thinking, why not try to get younger? Why are the Bucks trying to stay old and contend? I know Giannis won a Turner, so I'm not as upset about it. But just from my mindset, why not just try to get younger? That's all I got to say about that.
I disagree with you on this one, actually. I don't know if he was worth the amount of money that he was paid. However, he's Brooke Lopez, but 8 years younger. So the Bucks did check a box there. They got younger this offseason. A lot of the older pieces that were part of the old core, Chris Middleton obviously is gone. Brooke Lopez is now gone. They got younger. A lot of their starting lineup is younger guys now. Kevin Porter's not old yet. Gary Trent's still 27, I believe. Kyle Kuzma, for all the crap we give him, is not old. Giannis is still in his prime, and Turner's only 29 right now. So when I look at this, I see Brooke Lopez, but a bit more athletic and just as good in shot blocking. Obviously, he doesn't rebound, but I think they could definitely. I think they got better from this move. How much better? Not sure yet. But Turner's a good defender, and he can shoot the 3 ball, which are the two things that Brooke Lopez did really well.
But why would we want to go back to a Brooke Lopez?
So
I
what you're
feel like
saying?
everyone was complaining about Brooke Lopez when he was here. I understand we won a finals with him, but every time Brooke Lopez took a three, no one liked it. No one liked it. I know that for a fact. We don't need a center that can shoot threes and waste a possession for us. We need
I would
a center
argue
that
the
can
exact
rebound.
opposite because Giannis is not a 3-point shooter. Having two non-shooters out there at the same time is not a good
You
strategy.
got shooters all around you. Why do you need two big shooters? You got two great rebounders and inside the arc scorers. I don't get the issue here.
So
I don't
basically,
know.
what I just heard. So basically, what I just heard, all the players you named were basically a bunch of role players that uh, I wouldn't say past their prime, but they're getting to the back end to where they're not what they used to be. So I will say, y'all letting Dame go was probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen because
No,
yeah,
I
he's not
understand
gonna play. He's not gonna
I
play
mean,
this season. He's not. But you're allowing him if he does find a way to come back sometime in April, which is God forbid. You're telling me that he's going to go to a contender for a playoff run to where he could have been helping y'all with a playoff run.
So here's the thing.
I mean, the thing about this is it gives us a bit more flexibility for this season because we were looking at a horrible situation. I don't even think we would have probably had the money to sign Aiton if we didn't make that move. I'm not saying time will tell on Dame, especially because we don't know how he's going to come back from his injury either. And it's going to, like I said, we don't know. So if he comes back and he's incredible, then I'm going to probably have to eat my words. But I see what they're trying to do here, and they found a creative way to get rid of him without having to pay him as much money this year for a guy who's not going to play at all.
So here's the thing on that. There were people within the Bucks organization who believed after reviewing Dame's Achilles injury that he would not be back for a considerable amount of time, which would make him have to stay in Milwaukee. And Dame did not want to stay in Milwaukee while he was recovering. He wanted to go back to Portland and have his family around him, which is great. But there were people within the Bucks organization who did not think that Dame would be able to return it after looking and reviewing the Achilles injury. Now, I think it was a great idea to cut him because, first of all, he didn't do anything for us. I know he's a fan favorite. He was fun to watch, but got us nowhere. Okay. 2, if he came back off that Achilles injury, we're stuck with nothing. We don't have Brook Lopez is gone. I know we got Bobby still, but we don't get anything in return in that. Cutting him and signing Miles Turner was a great idea, but I think we should have got even more younger with DeAndre Ayton. That's what I'm arguing. Now, I don't really care about Dame leaving. I'll be honest with you. I was never on the Dame train in the first place. I told myself that I'd never buy his jersey unless they made the conference finals or finals, which they never did. So I'm not really. I don't think that was a dumb move at all. I thought it was actually great. It just sucks that we have to pay him for the next 5 years, but it's better than paying him front money while he's injured for the next 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know. I just think we should have got younger. And DeAndre Ayton's right there. I think they would have been very good together, regardless of not being able to shoot threes well. I don't think he needs to do that. I thought it would be perfect for him to rebound, pass to Giannis, shoot it out to KPJ, Gary Trent, AJ Green, any of those, even Kuzma, I guess, on the wing and shoot the shot. And it would have just been great. Maybe allow Giannis to open the floor up a little bit more as well. But Miles Turner should be good. I'm not saying he won't be good. It's just I don't know. I think we should have got way younger. But I just don't want another Brook Lopez. I don't think centers need to shoot that many threes.
I mean, I agree with you on the Dame thing too, because the term I was hearing this entire offseason was gap year, and that they were going to try and convince Giannis that this is a gap year where they just kind of take their lumps a little bit, probably struggle most of the season, but they made it clear that that's not what they're trying to do. They're still trying to win a title this year. They smell blood in the water. I think there's still a chance in a way that they make it out of the East. It's going to be tough, obviously, because I don't think they match up very well with some of those other teams. But with Giannis on the team, you can never really count them out.
Yeah, I think
that will respond to my.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I will respond to my dad. The NBA draft was not trash. We've seen like 10 players that can go and change franchises, I believe. So
this year's draft was way better than last year's.
It was 10 times better than last year's draft.
20 times, bro. Last year was a snooze.
This year's draft will actually have impact players in it right away. Ace Bailey. Obviously, Cooper Flag is the next generation of
Jeremiah Fears. Let's talk about it.
Like Jeremiah Fears. Like I seen a clip on TikTok where he was doing a one-handed in and out between the legs and went up for a layup, which is absolutely insane. But so I wouldn't say this draft is. was not trash. This draft was definitely one of the better drafts in the last 2 years. But continue.
I think a lot of people are saying the draft is trash because either their favorite team didn't get a great player, or they
Because the
just
Bulls got Noah Essengay instead of getting Derek Queen. So
right.
a lot of people are.
So
Yeah,
people are
they're probably
saying,
salty.
this draft is horrible. The draft is great all around. Okay, the Nets went crazy. The Hawks went crazy. The
The
Pelicans
Nets
went crazy.
ultimately drafted the starting five. If
Right.
you think about it.
Yeah, they did. And the Pelicans went crazy. They even with if we're counting free agency and the draft combined this year, because that's what it felt like. I can't see anybody calling that trash because so many teams got better. I mean, we can talk about it real quick. The West is ridiculous right now. Okay, the East, not really concerned
The
about
East
that.
is going to
The
be
East, the term
The
I
East is
use is
cupcake.
wide open.
So-
I use wide open for the East.
And the West is completely opposite. You want to know why? I'm gonna walk out there just real quick. Okay, the Rockets, they picked up so many great players. Obviously, KD, but they got a crazy bench now. The Mavericks, head to toe, great draft. Obviously, had the number 1 pick in the draft, and they already had a great team around them, which I thought from last year from the Luka trade, I was like, this team's not bad. They have a chance to win in the next 2-3 years. Okay, and then you still got the Warriors get Jimmy Butler, Steph, and Dre for an entire year. As of right now, maybe they make another move and they get Al Horford eventually. Then you got the Grizzlies, who they were in contention for a while. They just re-signed JJJ. They got Ja still. They still got a whole bunch of other guys that is deep, and they got Cole Anthony now in the trade. Whatever. There's more, okay. And then they got the Suns. Obviously, they're not great, but they just got Jalen Green with Devin Booker. If they pick up some other pieces, they could be dangerous. The Pelicans, they're always good when Zion is healthy. So when the Pelicans are healthy and they are head to toe good, I can see the Pelicans making some noise. Okay. And then who else is a great team? The Clippers. They still have James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, and they got Zubac on that team as well. So
they almost went to 7 games.
Right. So the Nuggets
did actually.
The Nuggets went absolutely crazy this free agency and had a good draft as well. I mean, there's the Lakers, Luka, LeBron, Reeves, Rui, Ayton now.
If you think about overall value, the Jazz had the best draft.
Jazz had a great draft as well. Okay. They could probably make some noise as well with their young
They'll
core.
get in the play-in. I see the play-in for them.
Right. So there are so many teams right now in the West. I know I'm forgetting someone that's just like kind of crazy that I'm forgetting. I'm kind of trying to remember.
Did you mention the Warriors? Sorry,
Yeah,
I lagged out.
I mentioned
We ain't even talking about the Mavericks, who got the best generational talent in the last 10
I think
years.
the Mavericks have best chance to come out the West. I think they genuinely might. I think.
What about the Wolves?
Okay, yeah, the Wolves. That's the one I was missing. The Wolves, they're a cool like 6th seed to me next year. I think the top 5 teams are going to be very hard to get past, because you got to think about it. The Rockets, the Mavericks, I think the Nuggets, the Clippers might even be up there, and the Lakers, I feel like, So I think, I feel like you can interchange the Clippers and the Wolves right now, because I think they made the same amount of moves, which isn't that many.
And then the Thunder, obviously, they're the defending champs.
And
they're going to be there forever.
Jesus. Okay, I just forgot the biggest one. The Thunder's still there.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
like the Thunder are just they're going to be the number 1 seed.
I'm not even worried about them. But yeah. So
that's like 8-9 teams that we just mentioned.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole conference. The only teams we didn't mention were Portland and New Orleans, I'm pretty sure.
No, New Orleans I mentioned. New Orleans might make some noise. Remember when Zion is healthy, they are actually very good. They make the 8th seed all the time. So this is a crazy prediction right now, but I'm calling it. We're going to see 2 60-win teams this year in the West. I don't know why, because the East is just not competitive right now.
There's going to be teams in the East making the play-in with like 35 wins.
Yeah, I mean,
there's going to be 4 teams in the West with 50+ wins. Think
about how
crazy
minimum,
that is.
At minimum,
Yeah,
there's probably, if I had to guess,
that sounds.
The 8th seed in the East is probably going to have around 39 to 42 wins, whereas in the West, the 8th seed is probably going to have like 48.
Hold on. So, and I'm missing another one. We got the last freaking airbender on the Spurs right now. We're getting enlightened in China. I kind of forgot about him. Wembanyama, he might make some goddamn noise next year.
We forgot about
Is
it.
he gonna
We
be
forgot
coming
about a
back,
giraffe,
though?
A giraffe.
If he comes back next year, yes, he will. I don't know. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but
If he comes back next year, he's going to probably be top 5 in MVPs.
I think the Spurs should trade De'Aaron Fox. Am
That
I
might be a
crazy
good
for
move.
saying
That might
that?
be a good idea, actually.
Because they have 3 guards now. They're really heavy at the guard positions, but I feel like they could get rid of him and get some value somewhere else on the roster.
Well, that's kind of hard to do because you don't have nobody coming off the bench. But you got Chris Paul. He's supposed to be there just to, to be that teacher for the young guys.
Chris Paul is
my
a free
opinion.
agent. I don't think he's going back to San Antonio either. He's a free agent right now.
Come to the Jazz. Teach Isaiah Collier.
I mean,
but
look, all I gotta say is,
you got Dylan Harper
That's
who's going to come off the
ridiculous.
bench and probably win Rookie of the Year.
right.
He's going to come off the bench. Obviously, Cooper Flag is Rookie of the Year right now. But
Come on, man, I gotta stop sleeping on Jeremiah Fears. He's gonna start next to Poole.
yeah, he's up there. He's top 4.
I think that Ace also is a shot at Rookie of the Year
That's
this
what I was
year,
about
just
to say.
because
The top 3 is going to be Cooper Flag, Ace, and
I
Dylan
feel like the
Harper.
guy-
But Jeremiah Fears is going to have a problem because if he plays, because DeJounte ain't going to be healthy to start the season. So Jeremiah Fears will be starting. So
I forgot
that's
that they
gonna
had
knock Dylan Harper
DeJounte.
down, I believe.
That's what Chris. Their team when they're healthy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the thing about them is they're kind of a what if because they just last year they were never healthy at the same time. DeJounte was healthy to start the year last year, was not healthy the rest of the season. Zion was injured to start the year, did not play all the way until like February, so that's why Trey Murphy was able to break out all year. Herb Jones was out most of the year. Who's their center?
Who?
The Pelicans.
Messi.
Okay.
7-foot rookie from last year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like their one position of like somewhat need, I would
I
say.
think they
It's
just got some. I think they just got another center. I don't remember who, but I swear they just got another one. But
Oh yeah, didn't they just drafted Queen, didn't they?
was it them? Let me see.
I thought it was the Pelicans that drafted him.
Hold on.
The Suns
Yeah.
aren't making the playoffs.
No.
They could still make some noise though. I will not sleep on them.
They can make some noise.
If they make some more moves, I can see it. But they're gonna
Yeah,
be
Derek Queen is on the Pelicans now, so he'll probably be their center.
So the Jazz have to jump ultimately 4 teams in order to make the play-in. 5 teams because the Sacramento Kings are what if. So,
the Pelicans did get Derek Queen because the Hawks traded it to the Pelicans. Traded their pick to the Pelicans.
the Jazz will have to jump 5 spots in order to make the play-in, which they can because they just upgraded their roster heavily. So they had 17 wins with the team that they had. They just added a 20-point game per game scorer and a guy and Walter Clayton who come off the bench and average 12, 13. So it's like, it's kind of that could be like 12 wins with that, and they were already losing games on purpose. So that's like 20 more wins that they could have had. So, well, not 20, maybe like 13.
I don't know. I think the Jazz are still a year away from being in even play-in contention. They got better this offseason. There's no doubt about that. Unless Ace is even better than we all thought he was. There's no doubt that they got better and they're taking steps in the right direction. They're in the West, and that's just the reality of it. I don't think they're going to
They'll probably be
leapfrog.
a top 5 team.
Like, I don't think the Kings are making the playoffs this year. I don't think Portland's making the playoffs this year, but those are still 2 teams that they won 20 more games than the Jazz did last year, and they're gonna have to find a way to get around them. Now the Kings are not young, but the Blazers definitely are, and they're a team that's on the rise as well. I don't know if the Jazz are gonna be better than those teams, and those are gonna be the teams that are probably around that 10 to 12 seed range.
I'm just excited, bro. I don't know who's gonna come out the East. If the Bucks make a little bit more moves somehow, because I know something else is gonna come. Whether that's hopefully Giannis doesn't ask out, but if he does, we're gonna get a package back and able to contend with a deeper team. But I really hope he doesn't because we kind of need him. But yeah,
So with that, we're gonna leave that there for NBA free agency. We'll be doing this pretty much all summer long for real. And yeah, so we're gonna jump into what has been NFL free agency. What has been some of the biggest moves? We'll jump into this one quick before we get into our MLB All Stars.
NFL or NHL?
NFL rather.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look back.
Hey, it's been a little bit, but the free agency so far for a lot of these teams, they've been pretty good, man. I mean, the Bills got a little bit better on defense with Joey Bosa and another few signings. The main one that I'm really focused on is the Ravens, because I just don't see who's really competing with this. I mean, let's see what they signed so far. Okay, they got Cooper Rush as one of their backups. That's great, cool. Derrick Henry got re-signed, $30 million contract. Rashad Bateman got re-signed 3-year, $36 million or $37 million. DeAndre Hopkins is on a $5 million contract for the Ravens. Tylan Wallace re-signed with the Ravens. He's a team option. Patrick Rickard, that's their fullback, which is very important in their offense. Ben Cleveland re-signed with the Ravens. That's a O lineman. Joe Noteboom, also a lineman. Ronnie Stanley, also a lineman with he's a top lineman, looks like. 3 years, $60 million contract. He re-signed to. John Jenkins agreed to terms on a 1-year deal as a D tackle, and Jair Alexander 1 year, $4 million, which is kind of crazy because the Packers didn't pay that. And Chidobe Awuzie signed a 1 year. I'm just, their signings are crazy to me. I mean, you look at the Bengals as well. Their offense is ridiculous because they signed P. Ryan, Chase, and Higgins back, and Gesicki. So that whole division is just ridiculous to me. And then you got to talk about the Steelers too, picking up old heads left and right, trying to compete with these young heads, the Ravens and the Bengals. So the AFC North is very interesting to me. That's the main one I really wanted to hit on.
The Steelers have the best CB room if it was like 2018.
Yeah, dude, it looks like by name, they look terrifying, like genuinely. But it's literally all to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins again. I'm not gonna lie, but who they signed? Brandon Echols signed a 2-year contract. James Pierre, Jalen Ramsey got in a trade along with Jonnu Smith. I think
Joey Bosa signed with the Bills.
Yeah,
that is. I didn't even see that.
Not scary.
That kind of flew under the radar.
But for him,
that was like one of the first ones
to go to the Bills.
It's scary if he's healthy. But
if he's healthy, that's going to be a real problem.
But he won't be. That's the issue. Trust me.
If they can get him for postseason,
if they can, yeah, that's
going to change all. That's going to change their trajectory for real, because they signed Shaq Thomas too, and Terrell Bernard. So it's like they're going to be dangerous again. Now for the Dolphins, well, no one cares about Zach Wilson.
Dolphins got a lot of stuff this offseason so far. Their defense is crazy.
They got a lot of O-line help, though.
They got a lot of cornerback
That was
help,
something that they needed. They definitely needed offensive
Miami.
Line.
They got Minka Fitzpatrick in the trade. Who does that? Why would they do that? I don't know.
Madison. That's a good running back. I mean, that running back room is going to be insane. Like,
yeah. Let's look at
Patriots. Obviously, Stephon Diggs. Everybody knows that. Cardi B's man. Sorry, Offset. The Jets are going to be very interesting, in my opinion. If Justin Fields plays anywhere close to what he did, at least with the Bears, what he did in like year 2, I think year 1, I believe, where he had a better year passing, or does what he did with the Steelers, just maintain. Like,
I think he's at his best when he's allowed to just have free reign over the rushing game, though. He's a really good runner as a quarterback. He's really tough to bring down. He runs a 4.4, and that's when he was at his best with the Bears, was when they just let him run free and he was able to make something out of nothing.
I believe it when I see it with the Jets. I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's that's basically one of the teams you have to see it with. I honestly feel like Cleveland is absolutely in purgatory right now. I mean, they signed Tevin Jenkins, which is pretty cool, but us Bear fans know he can't stay healthy to save his life. But for them to get 2 quarterbacks this past offseason, and you draft 2 of them with Deshaun Watson on the roster, is pretty dumb to me. There's no way I would have signed a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, and I already have Deshaun
They
Watson
got
under contract.
they got Kenny Pickett there now too, so
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's
Like
extremely crowded QB room.
somebody's going to get two quarterbacks are going to get waived. It's going to be probably Pickett, and it's going to probably be Gabriel. So sadly,
I
but
think
if Shador gets waived, hey, he's going to become. I think a team like the Steelers need to get him. In my opinion,
I think looking at another one of those teams where you're gonna have to see it to believe it, the Chicago Bears made a ton of moves this offseason.
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's why I
Completely
don't believe
addressed
it
the
until I see
offensive
it.
line, just tore it down, rebuilt it. I think they're gonna be a team that gets better as the season goes along because Caleb's gonna. I think he's gonna progress this year at
We
least
hope he's
to
going to
some
progress.
extent. I mean, as a Packers fan, I hope he throws 6,000 interceptions or something like that. But they definitely addressed the offensive line. They did a good job there. They re-signed some of their key guys, like Kyler Gordon's back.
How about Keenan Allen not being signed yet?
Bro, I'm still waiting. Just chill. I'm still
It doesn't
waiting.
make sense.
I'm waiting for them to call and be
Training
like, hey,
camp
man,
is 2 weeks away.
look, man, I'm waiting. Once he gets called, whatever. We got room in our wire. Trust me, we still got room. We got McConkey and Mike Williams. That's about it. QJ doesn't count anymore. I feel like I gave up on him last year. I just couldn't do it anymore. He still can't catch. I don't know what his issue is, but I mean, if he can have a breakout season like Devontae Adams did, because Devontae started horribly as a Packer, but if he can do something like that, I won't lie. QJ in the red zone was dangerous. Like he would catch everything in there. I don't know why, but if it's like a slant or like a dig or like an in route, like inside the field, he cannot catch it. Down the field, he struggles a little bit, but I feel like he performs a little bit better down there. But if he's running inside the field where safeties and linebackers are right there, he's not doing very good. So
Trey Lance with the Chargers.
Yeah, bro. So the thing with I don't get it. I don't know what we're doing.
Dallas is just dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We signed two quarterbacks on a 1-year deal. I get it. You want to develop Trey Lance because he does deserve a chance. I feel like you want to get him under Harbaugh, maybe get him some lessons. Najee
That
Harris
1-year deal is like $6 million.
Right. That's why I don't get. Najee Harris is great. I think that's a great signing. Jalen Reagor, good signing. He's fast. I believe in him. Mike Williams, great, obviously. Tyler Conklin, very interesting. I don't know how to feel about him just yet. Bradley Bozeman, Andre James as centers. Mekhi Becton was a huge signing. I don't know how we got him, but we did. Bud Dupree came back. He got an extension, I should say. Deshaun Hand, great signing. Khalil Mack re-signed a 1-year, $18 million deal, which is fun. I don't know. I'm not moved completely by our moves. I feel like we kind of have the same team from last year, but I feel like we can still compete. We made the playoffs, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
How is QJ's route running? Because the thing with Tay is his route running was so good, but he just could not catch the football. And
I feel like
that's why Green Bay held on to him, was just because they knew there was something in him and he just had to get over his drops.
I feel like his route running is okay. Like I don't think it's like outstanding, but I think he can move, you know. He can do all that. He can do short routes very well. He can do deep routes. I don't think he can do mid-range routes. I just don't. I don't think so. He just hasn't performed very well. But it's just his hands, bro. Like everything else is there. Like he's athletic. He's strong. He can block. Like why can't you catch the ball and make it run? Like he's fast too. So that's one thing that I just don't understand. Like we haven't seen like a huge breakaway touchdown by QJ. So that's just that's one of the guys I would say watch out for if he does have a breakout year. But I'm not convinced whatsoever yet.
Can I also just say that the Broncos built like the greatest defense of all time this offseason? It's ridiculous how good their defense is going to be. They just need some weapons on offense. They got J.K. Dobbins in the building. They had no running game last year, which was really their biggest issue. But they're going to have to win games 21-17 every week, and that's the problem.
I'm not worried about them, bro. Their offense is not fun to look at. It's just not going to be.
it's not entirely fun to watch either. In all
J.K.
honesty,
Dobbins is cool, but he'll be out by week 5. So that's great. I'm
Keep
not
singing
worried.
the music to my ears. Go Broncos country.
You're a Bears fan. I'm not worried about the
aren't you
Broncos.
from Chicago?
Yeah. That's why I have another team that I always root for. I've been rooting for them since they had Peyton. I was like,
I mean, as
I
long as you
attached to
stick
the
with them.
Broncos when they had Peyton. When they had got Peyton.
I'm not worried about the Broncos, bro. I'm worried about the Chiefs and only the Chiefs. That's all. That's the only team I need to worry about. We swept the
Just like-
Broncos and Raiders last year, so I'm not worried about them.
Just like Nas likes the Ravens, and he's a Packers fan.
I'm not like a Ravens fan. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan.
No.
I would say I'm more of a Packer fan than a Ravens fan.
Well, you're
Like,
more of a Chargers fan than anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what
I'm saying. I'm saying like my second team though. Like I'm
the
a
Chargers.
Lamar,
Yeah.
I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I'm not a Ravens fan, but I'm just interested in what they build around Lamar. I'm not like a fan of their team or anything, but I'm more of a Packers fan. Secondly, at heart, because I grew up around here. But
the thing with the Packers is they didn't make a ton of moves this offseason, but they really didn't need to make a ton either. The wide receiver room is so young. I think they're just counting on them to all take steps this year, the steps that they really didn't take last year. They drafted Matthew Golden. They addressed the offensive line in the draft and in free agency a little bit, signing Aaron Banks. That was a big move for them. They got Nate Hobbs for the secondary, but I don't really think there were a ton of clear needs on this team, and they didn't really do much as a result. They got Brandon McManus back at kicker. He was really good last year, and it'll be interesting to see how they do this year because the NFC North is just ridiculously stacked.
Yeah. So with that, we're gonna jump before Nazir heads up. We're gonna jump into our last topic, which is the MLB All-Star starters. So what we're gonna look at is, we have the AL All-Stars first. And what do we think about this?
1 second.
We got Baez in center, Riley Green in left, Aaron Judge in right, Jose Ramirez at third, Wilson at short, Gleyber Torres at second, Guerrero Jr. first base, Kyle Raleigh at catcher, and then Ryan O'Hearn at DH. Obviously, we have we're going to have the reserves announced on Saturday by MLB. So, yeah, these are the starters.
I don't see an issue.
First.
Is it just me or I just don't really see an issue with it?
Yeah, I think it's completely fine. Personally, I don't see
I three Tigers.
Wow. Tigers are good, dude. Like
obviously, and they're gonna have their starter. Tarek Skubal is gonna obviously start the All-Star game for the AL too. So it's like it's gonna be a load of Tigers.
I mean, Javi Baez also went crazy this year. Just
Cubs.
I mean, out of nowhere. Last year, he was the worst contract in baseball. His OPS was 400 or something like that. To see him come back and be an all-star again is pretty cool.
And then we'll jump on to the National League side. There's been some speculation in our other group chat. But we have in left field Kyle Tucker, who should have been in right. But Kyle Tucker's in left. Pete Crow, Armstrong in center. Acuna Jr., Ronald Acuna Jr. in right. Third base, we got Manny Machado. Shortstop, we have Francisco Lindor. Second base, Ketel Marte. First base, Freddie Freeman. Catcher, Will Smith. And our DH is obviously none other than Shohei Ohtani. So what do we have about this? Obviously, there was some controversy with Sam, our other co-host, who didn't like Pete Crow Armstrong in center. And he thought James Wood should have been there, which is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think that's crazy. I think
it's not crazy, but
I think they're right around the same level.
Yeah. You would have a better argument with Ronald Acuna and James Wood.
Why though?
Than you would PCA.
I mean, the thing about PCA too is like he's exciting. He's a young, exciting player on a young. I don't know if the Cubs are young necessarily, but they're definitely exciting this year. They score a lot of runs, they get a lot of hits, they're winning games. I don't really see an issue with having PCA there, other than the fact that I'm a Brewers fan and a hater. So I'm fine with him being there just because he's young and exciting and he's mashing home runs at a crazy pace.
He has the same amount of, I mean, he's had like 20, 25, 30 less at bats than James Wood, and they have similar stats. That's what gets me. And you could make the better argument with Ronald Acuna Jr. and James Wood that you would have PCA, because PCA was locked on the best center fielder in all of baseball right now. He is the best center fielder in baseball. I mean, you say Mike Trout, obviously, because of what he's done in the past, but when you look at this season right now, he is the best center fielder in baseball. And that's an unbiased opinion from a Cubs fan. But when you look at Ronald Acuna Jr., James Wood should have been over Acuna, in my opinion. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like,
I
dude
mean,
played for a month.
it goes back to like I said, the name value. Acuna is exciting. He's fun. Everyone knows Acuna. Nobody like if you're a casual baseball and you really only follow like your team and not a ton else, you kind of have to, because the Nationals aren't necessarily a big name in the sport. They're gonna pick Ronald Acuna over James Wood because all the casuals are gonna be like, "Oh, Acuna," whereas with James Wood, some of them are gonna be like, "Who?"
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But, I mean, I don't think if you watch baseball, you know of all the stars, you know? I mean, you know who James Wood is by now. I mean, he's been doing this for 2 years. I mean, he was on the scene last year. I think he should have been in over Acuna Jr. People might call me crazy, but I just think James Wood should have been over Ronald Acuna because I love Ronald Acuna. I love watching him play, but I feel that games matter. How long you've been playing in the season matters. When James Wood has been doing this since April, Pete Croce Armstrong been doing it since April as well, but James Wood has been doing this and playing very well and playing some high level baseball since April. Ronald Acuna came back, I think, what, at the end of May, in early
Something
June.
like that.
I feel like those games matter. Those 2 months matter, like, in my opinion. But, call me crazy, but I think James Wood should be over Ronald Acuna Jr., in my opinion.
I'm not saying I disagree with you on that. I'm just trying to consider why they would have put Acuna there over Wood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see why. I mean, name value and MVP talk and, he's a World Series champion, but he didn't play in the World Series. But World Series champion, he's this, he's that. He's the best guy, best player out there in the league. Like, he's challenging Ohtani and stuff. But I get it. But storylines is cool and all. But when you look at stats, go stats for stats, bro. Acuna has like 100 less at bats than James Wood. So his
All right,
stats will be
fellas.
elevated.
I gotta head out, but it's been great talking to you guys. Hopefully, we can do this tomorrow again on the 4th. Happy birthday, Jalen! If we don't, and yeah, it's been fun, and I'll try to get this going tomorrow. It's gonna be early morning for me tomorrow since I'm in Arizona, but we'll have some fun though, for sure.
For sure. All
Have
right.
fun out there.
Yes, sir. I'll see you boys later.
See ya.
See you.
So with that, we're gonna probably end the show soon. Anyway, we're gonna probably wrap it there. We'll have final thoughts real quick.
Yeah, final thoughts. Shoot. Whenever I'm put on the spot, man, it's tough. Cubs extended their lead back out to 3 games on the division yesterday, with the Brewers dropping one to the Mets. Mizorowski had his first kind of shaky performance of the season, giving up that grand slam in the 2nd inning and then another home run right afterwards. I'm not worried about him yet. It's still so early in his career. Rookies are bound to make mistakes, and it happens. There's growing pains in the sport. No pitcher is perfect coming into the league, especially when they're young, except Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens was flawless, but he's an enigma. I'm not worried about him yet. I think he'll bounce back next start that he has. And yeah, Brewers, they still look fine. They dropped one to the Rockies on Sunday, which was frustrating too, but Cubs are looking good again now too, Jalen.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs are playing great baseball like they have been all season. This might be I ain't gonna say it's a hot take, but I will say that we can actually probably say and think that, okay, maybe the Cubs might just win the division this year, even though it's July 3rd, but August is going to be here before you know it, and the games are going to matter. The games going to count. If they have another great month like they did in April, and they push this lead out, I mean, we've played 3 months of baseball already.
We're just over halfway through the season. Cubs
Yep.
are what, 51-35 or something like that?
Yep.
Brewers
they get to
are
about 95 games. That'll win you the division.
Yeah, I think the Brewers are going to get anywhere from at this point in the season, I'm going to go 86 to 92, I think is going to be the range. There'll be a wild card. I don't know where in the wild card they'll be just because we don't know how other teams are going to finish the year out. The Mets could get really hot again. The Phillies have been hot lately. The NL West, those teams are always the Padres and the Giants, and even the Cardinals are in there too still. I don't know how they're doing it either, but they're hanging around.
Right. It'll be a very interesting wrap to get when we get to the deadline, and we'll see what kind of moves people make. And MLB Network will definitely be on my TV all day long on that day, so it'll be interesting to see. And my final thought, I will say, yeah, it's a birthday tomorrow. Don't know much what I'm gonna do. It's the first time I'm gonna be out here by myself, actually. The first time I'll be out here without family around, and going to a barbecue or something, or being told. So I'm probably gonna receive a lot of phone calls and a lot of messages tomorrow from people, from
It's always fun to respond to all those.
Yeah, I mean, it's friends, family, all that stuff, and coworkers as well. So my fingers are gonna probably be burning by the end of the night. So, but
if nothing else, you'll get a good film workout in just doing the.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a workout in because obviously, I mean, there's nothing going on after at the beginning of the day, so there's no work either. So with that, we're gonna wrap the show up here. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Follow our podcast page on other platforms. The links are in the description box below. Our Spotify, Instagram, and our TikTok is on there as well. We will post real short things of this show. If DM us on things you'd like to have answered, and we'll get back to you. And hopefully we'll be on tomorrow. Look out for it. So that is Shot of Sports.